Donald Trump has made the economy a key point of his campaign. And yesterday, Fed Chairman Janet Yellen said the Federal Reserve would not rule out getting into the business of buying stocks. Listen to what she had to say.
We can only purchase U.S. Treasuries and agency securities. I did mention in a speech in Jackson Hole, though, where I discussed longer-term issues and difficulties we could have in providing adequate monetary policy accommodation, maybe somewhere in the future down the line, that this is the kind of thing that Congress might consider.
Oh, mercy, about as clear as mud, but it's a danger sign, isn't it? Well, let's talk about it now with the founder and principal of Sizemore Capital Management, Charles Lewis Sizemore. Charles, also a Newsmax insider, and we really thank you for your time here on Newsmax Prime. Now, when you hear the talk that the Fed might get into buying stocks, I get three concerns in my mind. Number one, immediately the value of our currency. Number two, the shape of our overall economy. And number three, where we all end up in retirement, especially through 401k plans. Can you give me your concerns or how you react to what I've laid out there?
Well, it's definitely a brave new world. I didn't expect to see the Federal Reserve even talking about the possibility of buying stocks. Now, they did make it clear that this is not something they can currently do. They don't have the power to do it now, but all it would take would be for Congress to change the rules, and all of a sudden that becomes fair game. My biggest concern is government ownership of stocks. Well, stocks are companies. Is that not government ownership of companies? That starts to look a lot like socialism.
Oh, it sure does. Wow, and that's scary enough. Listen, something that scares me, since my kids are grown up and hopefully socialized, I'm trying to get acclimatized to saving in my 401k plan. And you wrote an article at Newsmax.com. I really love the title. You need to max out your 401k plan. You don't want to beg your kids for money. So tell us, what do we need to do? Only about a minute and a half left. What do old guys like me, or really everybody, need to do?
You know, the benefit of the 401k plan is that even if you're a little bit wary of the stock market, it's still a very good option because of the tax break and because of the matching. So if your employer matches you 3 to 5%, that's great. On that first 3 to 5%, you're getting 100% return just on the matching alone. But the tax break is really the big deal. If you're maxing out the 401k, if you're putting in the full $18,000 a year, or if you're aged 50 or older, you're putting in $24,000 a year, and you're in a high tax bracket, you could be making 30% or more just in tax benefits. So even if the stock market doesn't go up a single penny, it's worth stuffing every single dime you can in your 401k plan just to get the tax benefit of nothing else.
And the other thing you say in this article, something I'm trying to get used to, you say it's time to live with a little less glitz and glamour to avoid running out of money in your retirement years. You want to expound upon that a little bit? About a minute.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to put a pencil and paper to it, or a spreadsheet, if you will, whatever. You have to be realistic with your expenses. If you know that from, say, Social Security and from your 401k plan, you know, from your sources of retirement income, that your income is going to be X, you know, whatever that number is, then you need to make sure your expenses are in line with that. If they're not, you have to make changes. If that means getting a smaller house, if that means driving a less glamorous car, that's what you have to do, because that's what the math says. You know, you have to live within your means. That's something that a lot of Americans have had a really hard time doing over the last 30 years. But in retirement, I mean, hey, better late than never, right? I mean, it's better to get started.
You're making so much sense. I'm left with this impression. The four-letter word we need to learn to love is save. And that's what we're going to do. Charles Lewis Sizemore, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.